Thank you. As we move next here tonight to new gun laws on the table in Tallahassee, as we go live tonight to Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders standing by at the Capitol right now. Forrest, lawmakers say they want to focus on the cost of living, but some apparently do want to focus on gun and open carry. What are you hearing there?
Well, I think this is one of the reasons why critics are saying this is all politically motivated, right? These bills are coming from two lawmakers who are actually running for Congress in those special elections that are coming up in April. So a lot of people think that maybe they're just trying to stoke the coals for their GOP voter base as we head into the primaries. Maybe, maybe not. But these lawmakers say that they see a path to victory for these pieces of legislation. In the wake of the 2018 Parkland shooting, Florida lawmakers approved a slate of gun reforms. Former governor, now U.S. Senator Rick Scott, signing them into law following wide bipartisan support.
The hardest thing I've ever had to do as governor is try to find the words to console a parent who lost their child.
But now, more than 6 years later, a renewed effort from Second Amendment Republicans to undo some of those changes and add new ones.
We're doing our best to restore everyone's full and unfettered Second Amendment rights, especially when you've done absolutely nothing wrong.
State Rep Dr. Joel Rudman, who's running to replace Matt Gaetz in Congress, filed HB 31 this week. It allows the open carrying of firearms, and it ends Florida's post-Parkland red flag law. With it, friends, family, or law enforcement can petition a judge to strip away firearms from those deemed a threat to themselves or others. Rudman says it's got to go, despite support from some fellow Republicans, police, and sheriffs who think the law has saved lives.
So there's absolutely no safety issue involved with my bill. Again, there's an old saying that those who are willing to sacrifice freedom for security deserve neither. And I absolutely 100% agree with that.
That's not all. State Senator Randy Fine, who's also running for Congress in a heavily Republican district, wants to return the firearm purchase age in Florida to 18. In a statement, he said, quote, "I believe that if you can use a rifle to protect our nation, you should also be able to purchase one."
Gun purchasing age, is that again not a non-starter?
It's not in the Senate.
No bill. That's a non-starter.
There's no bill. It's a non-starter for me.
The former Florida Senate president resisted previous attempts to make it happen despite approval in the State House earlier this year. That's as the new Senate president sounded opposed to open carry this year, given that many in law enforcement are too.
And I stand with them today in opposition. They oppose it. I trust my law enforcement officials, and that's where I stand.
Democrats, meanwhile,
because it would be dangerous and reckless,
likely to be universally opposed. Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith wanted to go the opposite direction and tighten current gun law.
In downtown Orlando, we had a mass shooting on Halloween that law enforcement said permitless carry prevented them from being able to do security screenings. We need to have conversations around this to protect public safety.
Now, you can expect that Democrats are going to propose some of their own bills about guns in the coming legislative session. These are sort of perennial bills. We're talking about strengthening red flag laws, doing better background checks, restrictions on assault weapons and ammunition. Those are bills we see all the time, but this is a GOP-controlled legislature, and they never get any traction.
Yeah, let's talk about the Democrats. They do have ideas, but given what we learned this week from Susan Valdez, a representative here in West Tampa, who's switching parties to become a Republican, essentially by doing this, she basically blew the whistle on this fairy tale notion that anything the Democrats do or say matters in Tallahassee. They literally have no power. The numbers just are not there. So in your world up there, when you talk to Democrats, what is their plan to be more relevant or relevant at all in the next legislative session? And are there Republican colleagues in Tallahassee who will actually listen to their perspective and value it in any way?
First and foremost, I'm hearing from a lot of Democrats a sense of optimism because we have new leadership that's coming in, and so they're hopeful. They don't know that it's going to be a very bipartisan session. It hasn't been in previous sessions, with the exception of all of the little bills that get through. Those are often bipartisan bills, but a lot of the major ones, the big culture war bills, those are very, very much GOP centered. But what I will say is we also have two schools of thought, right? You have accountability, which is what House Minority Leader Fentress Driscoll says she wants to do, is keep Republicans accountable. But then you have Minority Leader over in the Senate, Jason Pizzo, who says he's more focused on getting rid of sort of pride of authorship. He doesn't care if his name is on a piece of policy. He just wants to make sure he's having an influence. And so he's going to work behind the scenes with some of these Republican lawmakers to try and get some of his ideas on paper, even if his name isn't on it. And the same goes for his caucus.
Yeah.
We'll have to see who wins out in the end.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the Pizzo model is the way to go for the Democrats or this Valdez situation where you become a Republican. Forrest Saunders, I know, right? Live in Tallahassee tonight, Forrest, thank you. Still to come.